Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex, your host, and today I want to take a look at who could potentially replace Jame Bradberry at CB2. Of course, we know we have Adoree Jackson still around as our CB1, but if he gets injured, there's definitely a hole that opens up in the secondary. But Jame Bradberry kind of wasn't going to be a scheme fit for Wink Martindale's system. He's a veteran, experienced, definitely still has CB1 talent, but I think for another team, he's going to serve a great piece at probably a fraction of the cost, or maybe they'll sign him to an extension on a similar deal. But now that Jame Bradberry is gone, the Giants saved $10.1 million against the cap. So now they have enough to sign their rookie draft class, which will cost about $12.8 million. The Giants have around 16 million right now. So a little bit of cash flow opening up for them, and the flexibility to sign their rookie class is essentially what they needed. And Jame Bradberry was always going to be cut. Apparently, there were about $5 million difference between the Houston Texans and Jame Bradberry. They were going to restructure his contract. The Giants even offered to pay a little bit to help, move the process along. They were going to get a late round draft pick in exchange, but to match or give a little bit more money, they were going to need Houston to give them a better draft pick, but ultimately ended up just releasing Jame Bradberry. He'll be sought after on the market, but who replaces him, right? The Giants on the roster have a couple of players. Jarren Williams, they have Cordell Flott, they have Aaron Robinson and Rodarius Williams. Now, who do I think is going to be the most likely to get starting snaps immediately? Aaron Robinson. And the reason is I think he's super aggressive. I think he's got all the talent to, succeed in a Wink Martindale system. He can survive alone on an island. He's a really good tackler. That's something I kind of noticed about Aaron Robinson. He's a good tackler. Like that's kind of where he makes his impact. He was projected as a slot corner out of UCF coming into the NFL at 6'1", 193 pounds. But last year, he actually spent a good amount of his snaps on the outside as well. So overall, he spent 92 snaps in slot corner and 149 as the wide corner. So I think that kind of shows how the Giants were using him. They see his frame as pretty good. He's aggressive. He's quick. They had him a lot in zone coverage. I was watching two of his major games earlier today, and I have some film I'll show you guys against Kansas City, or rather Los Angeles Chargers and the Miami Dolphins. In those two games, he doesn't play that much man coverage. He plays a lot of zone. This was later on in the season, week 13 and week 14, after Patrick Graham kind of abandoned this cover one heavy system. He was trying to run. It just did not hold up. They were getting beat a lot deep, and then they kind of transitioned over to the bend, don't break when the offense just couldn't help them score. They had to just keep the opposing offense on the field as long as possible, try to wear them out and keep their offense off the field. Terrible strategy to have if you're in the NFL, but nonetheless, that is kind of what happened. But let's take a look at Aaron Robinson's statistics. So over 268 total snaps, Aaron Robinson put together a pretty decent performance. He only had 18 tackles, but again, like he, playing a lot of zone coverage, he's kind of covering the back end, transitioning, playing cover 3, moving back in the secondary. He gave up 153 yards and 1 touchdown. He got beat a couple times deep. His best game really came, probably against Philadelphia. He played 22 total snaps. He gave up 19 yards and 1 reception. His worst game came against Chicago in week 17. He gave up 45 yards on 5 receptions. They were really picking on him in that game. He gave up his lone touchdown as well. He had a pass breakup against Miami and Philadelphia, but he got beat a couple times going deep. And this was kind of like when you look back at Eli Apple, his biggest flaw was he was never able to get his head turned around. Still can't do it. But at the end of the day, Aaron Robinson's a rookie. He actually showed pretty good coverage in terms of how close he was to the opposing receiver, but he just didn't get his head turned around. The great cornerbacks are able to get their head turned around. They can read when that ball is coming, and it allows them to make plays on the football. You'll see in the film here that Aaron Robinson really did show a lot of great qualities, but he does get beat on one play. I threw in one play there where he gets beat by Devontae Parker against Miami. He just doesn't get his head turned around, but he's right there. He's right in the mix. It was really just a great throw from Tua Tagovailoa. Let's take a look at some of the film here and what Aaron Robinson offered us last year and why we should be kind of intrigued by him moving forward. So at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see Aaron Robinson around the 11-yard line. Los Angeles is looking to run a screen pass here, and I really like how Aaron Robinson disengages from this block. So the receiver gets out there, good blocking, right? Like you have the safety crashing down, but overall, like this receiver should be able to either dart inside, pick up a couple yards, or get around the edge. I really like how Robinson, the receiver, decides, okay, I see that safety coming in to plug that gap. I'm going to try and get around the edge. Aaron Robinson does a tremendous job shedding that block and making a great tackle, going for his knees, bringing him down. I think that ultimately when you're looking for an aggressive corner like a Wink Martindale loves on the outside, Aaron Robinson fits that profile pretty well. And he's able to disengage from blocks on the screens. He's able to attack guys in man coverage. I really think the Giants should be giving that experience to him and not taking it away and giving it to a one-year rental on the free agent market. This team is rebuilding, guys. Like, we have to approach this as the right rebuild. If you look at what the Jets do or good teams do, they give reps to their youngsters because at the end of the day, you need to ultimately, give these guys a chance to develop. And Aaron Robinson showed some flashes like this last year where I think he could develop into a very, very good player. But again, you can't steal reps away from them if you're rebuilding. So I think the Giants will take kind of that mentality. And here's another play from him in the same game. And you always want players that show up when you're backed up into your own end zone. You really need to make a stop. And look at Aaron Robinson off the edge here. Again, Wink Martindale system. Cornerbacks need to be able to shed blocks on the outside and stop in the run game. He's kind of in the slot here, does a really great job of, this running back coming around the edge. If nobody's there, if Robinson misses this or takes the wrong angle, he's not this running back's taking it to the house, but Robinson gets in there aggressive. I'd kind of like him not to lead with his head because we've seen what happens to guys like Daniel Jones and do with that. He kind of throws his head in there and gets bashed pretty hard. I would hope he avoids that in the future. But again, he's aggressive enough. He is not afraid to go head to head, literally, with the running back, and he makes a really nice play here to stop it before the end zone. And I think like when you're looking at him as a pure run defender from the cornerback position, he definitely stands out. And I think that that's at the very least you're getting a good run stopping aggressive corner with a good size at 6'1", 195 pounds. So a little bit more experience in coverage. And I think he could be a pretty damn good player for us, former 3rd round pick too. So, you expect these guys to have some sort of value. Let's take a look at this. So here they're doing a little rollout play action. And I wanted to show you how quick Aaron Robinson diagnoses this play on the back end, right? So it goes for a nice gain. But look, you're going to see at the top of your screen, about the 25-yard line, all the way to the right, there's a receiver. Behind him is Aaron Robinson. And watch how quickly he disengages from this and figures out what's going on. I mean, he's not even turned, but look at this. He disengages, he sees the ball go in the air, and he makes a nice play, stops him. It's a nice gain, but again, like this could have gone for a lot more if Aaron Robinson was blocked downfield. If this receiver starts blocking him, it's a nice play. I like how he was able to disengage and kind of see what was going on behind him and really be a part of the play, make a tackle. Like that's just like you want to see players that go 100% every single game and every single play. And Aaron Robinson does that. So I think that, at the very least, he's going to give you 100% max effort every single game, every single play. And I think that's the type of player that Joe Schoen is really looking for at this time. So this is another angle at the first play for Aaron Robinson on that screen pass to the wide receiver. So watch him on the outside. Robinson's covered up. You can't really see, but he's doing a really good job at, if this guy goes inside, he's going to dart inside. If he goes outside, he's waiting to see what the running back does, or what the receiver does here, and he decides to go outside. And watch how quickly he changes direction. Palmer can't hold him. Bam, tackle. Great job. I mean, that's high end cornerback tackling and block shedding right there. Really great job from Aaron Robinson. I do like him a lot as a player, and he showed us a lot as a rookie. This is probably his best play. In terms of film against Philadelphia, he's in man coverage at the bottom of your screen at the 40-yard line on the outside, right? So you want to be seeing Aaron Robinson on the outside because that is where he's going to take over for Jame Bradberry if he gets the opportunity to start. But look what he does here. It's a little quick slant. Bam, nice little stutter step to the outside. Look how square he is. He is not falling for these stutter steps, right? He's not leaning. He's not taking that outside. He's waiting. Look at his feet and watch his reaction timing. He breaks and gets underneath and causes a pass breakup. That is, if you're looking at him as a pure prospect for the Giants right now, pure player, that is exactly what you want to be seeing from a man coverage press situation. You have a shifty receiver on the outside. He's trying to bait you to go and take a false step so he can beat you. Keeps his feet square, keeps his feet stuttered. Bam, changes direction. And it creates a nice pass breakup. This is a great look for Aaron Robinson. If he can do this consistently, he is going to be a starting cornerback in the NFL. The Giants need to be providing him with more opportunities and experience. Otherwise, they're just going to be doing malpractice. What is the point of going out and signing Xavier Howard or anybody, any veteran cornerback? Like, what is the point, right? This is a time for us to rebuild. We do not need rental cornerbacks. We don't need rental cornerbacks to be holding down the fort for us for a season. It makes no difference. Give our young guys time. Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, Micah McFadden, we just drafted, Darian Beavers, give these guys reps, let them get on the field, see if they have anything. Aaron Robinson has something. We've seen it already. He has something. Let's see if they can untap what exactly his potential is. But here is Cordell Flott. So I do want to discuss the two other guys, Cordell Flott and Rodarius Williams, and kind of what they have to offer. Cordell Flott, as you know, just drafted out of LSU, 6'1", 178 pounds. He's a really wiry, long cornerback, but he's very, very thin, right? He's very thin. He has terrible tackling technique. He is very weak at the point of attack. But a lot of people kind of see him as either a slot corner or a safety in the NFL, right? I don't know if he's going to be able to hold up on the outside against bigger, more physical receivers. That is to be seen. I think he'll actually be a pretty solid nickel corner in the NFL, but he's so small. You need him to be able to tackle. Those slot corners have to be active in the run game. I don't know if he's going to be able to stand his ground in the run game. Last year, he gave up 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, and picked up an interception. A massive improvement compared to 2020 when he had 656 yards allowed and 6 touchdowns. The dude just took a monstrous step forward at 20 years old. He was the 13th ranked cornerback via PFF, but when you're looking at him as a prospect, as an athlete, he's very bouncy. He's able to, react nicely to receivers and he has good pickup speed. But again, I think that he's going to have some physical limitations at his size. Give him an NFL weight room, give him an NFL diet. He gets up to maybe 190 pounds, 6'1", 190 pounds. You can work with that. That's a decent size where you can work with, as long as he can maintain his speed and agility. So that's kind of the thing. He doesn't have the longest arms, doesn't have the biggest hands. So those are definitely a little bit of a concern. Basically, out of all of his major attributes, his change of direction is where he really shines. He's a really good change of direction. His 20-yard shuttle ranked in the 81st percentile at 4.10. Has good height, but all of his intangible traits, weight, arm length, hand size, all below average. 40-yard dash, close to average. He's basically just a very, very shifty change of direction, slim cornerback. I don't see him really as an outside receiver, which is where I think the Giants need. But let's check him out. Take a look at outside all the way at the top of your screen. Let's see what he does here. So you can see that bouncy kind of technique he has, right? He kind of jumps right here. He's off balance, right? But he has his hands a little grabby, but he changes direction so quickly. It's not that big of a deal. I'm very curious to see against corners, or rather against receivers who are quicker and can make him, really, really quick. Kadarius Toney's of the world, the Wan'Dale Robinsons even. If he's going to be super bouncy like that and he's not stuttering his feet and waiting for the receiver to make their move, is he going to get caught? Are his ankles going to get caught? And I'm curious to see if that happens to him at the next level. But he does show some prowess outside, takes away the screen pass. That's a nice pass breakup. That's not the quickest receiver in the world. But a lot of straight line speed, but I would like to see him against more agile in the slot. I'd like to see him in the slot a lot more, and see if, he can really hold up. But this is also a nice play downfield. You'll see it's at the bottom of your screen about the 45-yard line. Nice job working through that reception, getting his hands in there and causing a pass breakup. So Cordell Flott, overall, I think he needs a lot of development, right? Cordell Flott needs a lot of development before he becomes a starting guy. Let him compete. Sure, let him compete. I think that's totally reasonable to be like, okay, let Cordell Robinson compete for the starting snaps. But I think Aaron Robinson is the better option right now to be, taking reps. I also would like to throw in Darnay Holmes there. Darnay Holmes is another guy. We've spoken to Brian Walker, our friend from D-Backs Academy, multiple times. He thinks that Darnay Holmes could actually work on the outside quite well. He showed pretty solid prowess in man coverage schemes, also in zone coverage, but Darnay a little bit smaller. I think he does fit that slot nickel profile a little bit better than the outside. I think that Aaron Robinson is the guy that we should be looking at if the Giants don't draft don't sign anybody in free agency. Bring in a veteran to fill that, maybe just to compete. But I do think Aaron Robinson is the guy we should be talking about, we should be thinking about for CB2. Anyway, I'd love to hear your opinions below on YouTube. Let me know what you think about CB2. Who do you think should be getting? Do you think we should be signing somebody? It's a rebuild year, so I don't totally agree with that. But curious to hear your thoughts. Cordell Flott, Rodarius Williams, or Darnay Holmes? Which guy do you think, or would you prefer to be there starting at CB2 alongside Adoree Jackson? I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Make sure to like and subscribe below. As always, we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.